What's up, Lean Machines family? So good to see you. We're here answering another one of your personal questions. If you've got any, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, leave your comments below and we will get through them, we promise. Today's question is, as reads from Karan Sharma. Thank you so much for your question. I'm an average built guy, but my body fat accumulates on my love handles and not the stomach. So I look flat from my stomach, but I have love handles. How do I fix it? This is huge. Let's do it. Karan, when I first read this question, I thought to myself, how could you not have heard or had some decent information by now, or even from us? Because guys and girls alike, so many people struggle with love handles and back fat. So I went through and I typed how to lose love handles on YouTube, and it killed me how many false claims and jack this and do that was out there. I'm gonna say Elliot Hulse, Omar Asaf, Alpha M was a new channel that I discovered through this question. Also, who else was it? The Hodge twins. Those are the only 4 videos from the hundreds that I looked through that I thought were honest about it, hit it in the right way, and laid it on the line. There is so much false claims. There's so much do your crunches, do your Russian twist, do this, do that. If people are at a high enough body fat percentage that they've still got body fat to lose, it doesn't matter about all of those aesthetic kind of movements that you're doing. Yes, they will help things pop when you're later down the line, but your body fat has to be so much lower than you may even understand to even be worrying about all of those kind of movements. So first of all, crunches, Russian twists, all this kind of stuff is not gonna help right now. Right from the word go, one of the main things we need to do if we want to reduce body fat is increase blood flow or circulation to that area. That's where this tire comes in. This spare tire around the front. What's poor there? Circulation. So that's why it's really hard to lose the fat there. Fertile women want to protect their reproductive organs, so they hold more fat there. Guys have more fat cells there, so we naturally are fighting a bit of a losing battle. So first things first, it is going to be as simple as you've probably heard this before. The first place that you notice fat going on your body is going to be the last place you will lose it from. Just remember that, and it might stop you banging your head against the wall going, well, my top 2 abs are popped, I'm getting veiny arms, but it's still not going. Just remember, over focusing and over struggling with that area is not going to change it. You just need to be patient. Karan, we need to look at your lifestyle choices. It's not as simple as just pounding yourself in the gym. I can give you a few options that will help, but it's not as simple as just punishing yourself in the gym, dropping your calories down, because that is not going to help for optimal performance and health long term. You've got to look at your sleep, right? You've got to regulate your sleep. You've got to give your body a bit of a breather. It's got to help regulate its hormones. It's got to regulate your stress. It all happens, all this beautiful stuff happens in your sleep. Be getting a good 6 to 8 hours unbroken sleep a night if you can. That is gonna help fat loss long term. Honestly, more than I could even give it credit for. I'm gonna give you a couple of different things that you can try which will help enhance that. But first of all, you need to ask yourself, every guy and girl out there who has these stubborn areas that they really want to get rid of, right? And you're on your way, you're already losing fat. You've got to ask yourself the question honestly, what is it worth to you, right? For me personally, I can get vascular, I can get a good 6-pack, I've got my nice little love handles pushing out, I can get everything in check. But for me to even notice a slight reduction in these little fatty pockets on my lower back or on my side, I have to go to single digit body fat, right? Anyone who's ever dieted down to sub 15% body fat, you will understand the amount of pressure and the amount of hard work it takes physically, nutritionally, psychologically. It takes its toll. So you've got to have that weigh up between what looks good and what you're satisfied with and what you feel pretty awesome with, but you're still being able to perform in the gym because you haven't completely dropped your calories through the floor for so long that you can't get that energy that you require for your sessions. And also as well, you've got to look at your lifestyle. Can you maintain a sub 10% body fat just for the sake of these love handles and still feel pretty awesome? If you can, I'd take your hat off to you, because for me personally, around 12%, 6-pack, vascular arms, I eat around 2,500 to 3,000 calories, I function pretty well on that, and I can get a little bit stronger in the gym. That is the most perfect little bubble for me, and that feels nice. If I need to do something for a photo shoot, then I'll drop it down a little bit, but I never want to be down at 10% personally and stay down there, because that is super, super hard, super demanding. Anyone who does that, you are a stronger person than I am. Karan, what can you do to help? One of the biggest things that I always rate when I go onto a bit of a cut is fasted cardio, whether it's HIIT or whether it's LIST. I will put that in 2 to 3 times a week, depending on my stress levels, my calories, how much I need to get rid of body fat wise. That basically means getting up before you have anything to eat, just take your water, go for a HIIT session, which basically means high levels of intense exercise like a sprint followed by recovery. You can do 50-50, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. You can do 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, whatever you like, 10 to 15 minutes maximum. I would personally say that a HIIT session really wants to be no longer than 10 minutes, but some people will kind of push into that interval kind of thing and push it on a little bit more. Absolutely brilliant. I notice it within a week to 2 weeks, doing that 3 or 4 times over that period of time. I instantly notice that helps for me. When my calories have to go quite low, you know, when I say low, that's probably anything sub 2,500 calories for me, which might not be low for a lot of people. When we're talking 6 to 8 weeks of dieting, week 5 and week 6, I don't tend to do any HIIT because my stress levels go through the roof. So my version of that, I say version, it's completely different, is LIST, which basically means instead of going bum, 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 for 10 minutes, I'll go for a walk, a fasted walk for an hour, listen to a podcast, listen to some music, educate yourself at the same time, steady state, never massively out of breath. So you could always hold a conversation if you had to, but you're burning calories. That massively helps for me. Nutritionally, I'm not gonna confuse this, right? So many people pretend you need to do this with your carbs, you need to do that with your fat, you need to do this with your protein. Quite simply, if you're doing it just for personal aesthetics and you wanna maintain performance, you want to just have a basic caloric deficit, which basically means the amount of calories, your totally daily energy expenditure, your TDEE, what you need right now to stay exactly as you are, right? Once you've figured that out, if you haven't, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to track calories. It's boring, it sucks, but you need to know where you're at. Once you've done that, all I say is drop it down by 200 calories maximum. That's all you need to do. A simple deficit will get you losing weight as a whole to start with. Don't get me wrong, the training has to be tailored correctly to make sure that you're losing fat, not just weight as a whole. But a basic caloric deficit, which is going to allow you to perform better, longer, because you've got more calories to play with, you're not feeling hungry all the time, which means less worry of potentially falling off the wagon further down the line. And second of all, it gives you somewhere to go when you get to those sticking points. You can either up your activity a little bit more, which will burn more calories, or you can then drop your calories a little bit more by maybe 50 or 100, just small increments. Do it slowly, give yourself time, don't stress the body out too much. Training is a stress, we know. Don't overdo it, don't overcomplicate it. Fat loss is simple. The hardest thing is sticking to it, trusting yourself, and also when you get down there and staying there, that is when the real work starts. And finally, Karan, one thing that can help you in terms of the training, obviously we talked about cardio, is weights. There is no two ways about it, whether I'm trying to burn fat in a certain area or whether I'm trying to build muscle. As a whole, a rule of thumb for me is I will always lift weights, and I will normally always lift heavy. Yes, you can't go quite as heavy when you've got a slight calorie deficit, but make it hard. I never really lift more than 12 to 15 reps maximum. And when I say 12 to 15, they are failed reps. Those last few reps are really hard, because when you're trying to lose fat, you want to hold on to as much muscle as you possibly can. It's metabolically active, it's going to burn more calories. So yes, there is an element of muscle degradation or muscle loss when you start to burn fat, but you want to hold on to it as much as you possibly can. So keep the weights in, and trust me, on a final note, I'm just going to say, Karan, you are not the only person who struggles with that area. It will take time. You need to weigh up the pros and the cons of getting your body fat down that low for you to get to that point where you start to feel the reduction and see the reduction. For you, it might only be another body fat percentage. For some people, it might be another 10%, and they might have to go down to single digits. Weigh up what it's worth for you, and everyone else out there, just take your time. Give yourself more time. We live in such a fast, bloody world nowadays. It takes time. Let your body breathe a little bit. Bring the intensity up. ease off. Bring the intensity up, let the body breathe every now and again. 6 to 8 week bouts, up and down, step back. Two steps forward, 1 step back. That's what we always say. It's a simple rule to stand by with periodization, and you will get there. Thank you so much for your question, Karen. It was awesome. I hope it helped you and so many other guys and girls out there. Keep watching, keep being awesome. Drop your questions below. We love answering them. They're getting better and better and better every week. So thank you. Your support to the channel means the world to us. Have an awesome weekend.